Am I the muggy for not taking my mum to the hospital on my wife's birthday? Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of mugginess. I've been a counsellor for over 20 years and I specialise in personality disorders. I'll be pointing out red flags and speculating on what personality disorder the OP might be dealing with. Dear Agnes, my wife and I currently live with my mum. It's super embarrassing and believe me, we're trying to get out, but have no other option for the moment. My mum and my wife have never gotten along and my mum is a pretty crappy mother-in-law. I'm on my wife's side 100% and shut it down when my mum starts. Sunday was my wife's birthday and my wife is huge on birthdays. We had a whole day planned and I had some extra surprises, and I know from previous years that she has sky-high expectations for birthdays and gets disappointed if there is any setback. We were getting ready to go out when my mum fell down the stairs. It was totally her fault because she was running in high heels. Obviously, we both went to her, but she was adamant that she didn't need help. I told her she needed to go to A&E as she couldn't move her wrist and was quite literally writhing in pain. I felt I had to offer to drive her as she couldn't drive with one arm, and I've heard you can't Uber if you are clearly injured for liability reason. I saw my wife's face fall, but I just felt like that was what I was supposed to do. My mum declined and I asked her how she was going to get there. She said she didn't know, but she didn't want a ride from me. So we went out for the day, but my wife told me I was insensitive for even asking my mum if she wanted me to take her. When we returned home to change for our big evening out, my mum was back from hospital. Her friend had driven her. She was looking for something to eat but hadn't done the weekly shopping and was struggling to find something she could make on her own. I offered to make her something. At first she declined but then gave in. When my wife came down, I said I'd be ready in a few minutes and she looked incredibly hurt. It was just cheese on toast and it didn't take long. Also, my mum had been at A&E for hours and hadn't eaten. Before we left, I asked if she needed anything else and she said no. The moment we got into the car, my wife accused me of catering to my awful mother on her birthday. I pointed out it was an unforeseen emergency, but she told me my mum being stupid and running downstairs shouldn't be my priority. She said my mum has her own partner. He was out of state and he did offer to fly home, but wouldn't have made it until early the next morning, so he couldn't have given her a ride or made her dinner. My wife can't forgive me for making her second fiddle to my mum on her birthday. So, am I the muggy? My reply: oh yes, you and your wife are huge muggies. You think offering your mum a lift to A&E after she's had an accident, then taking no for an answer is okay when you and your dreadful wife live in her house. You then go out and leave her not knowing how she would get there. You have zero empathy. And I'm guessing you've got dependent personality disorder, and that's why you were attracted to your wife, who has obviously got narcissistic personality disorder. Watch my videos number 1 and 24 for more info on DPD. You say your mum is a crappy mother-in-law, but I'm guessing you're just saying that because your wife doesn't like her. If your mum was so horrible, why would she let you and your wife live with her? I reckon your mum is a codependent. She's spoiled you rotten, and that's why you've ended up with a personality disorder and you can't stand on your own 2 feet. And even though you've treated your mum appallingly, I bet she doesn't kick you and your wife out. Shame on you, OP.